Good evening. This is the Independent Community Police Oversight Commission February 24th regular meeting, and it's now 6:13, and I call this meeting to order. Ms. Cummings, would you please do the roll call?
Yes. Chair Carter is absent. Vice Chair Othman.
Yes?
Commissioner Milgram.
Here.
Commissioner Green.
Here.
Commissioner Haynes.
Here.
Commissioner Cooper.
Present.
Commissioner Mainley.
Here.
Commissioner Pipkins is absent. Councilmember Harrison is absent. Commissioner Liu is absent. And that is all. We have quorum. Next, we will move on to approval of the agenda.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda from our,
So moved.
for our meeting, for this meeting?
November.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Second.
Okay, anyone for? Say yes.
All in favor?
In favor, yes. Against?
It passes.
As called.
Next, we move on to approval of the minutes.
Okay, this minute is from our back November meeting because we did not have meetings in December or January. And I would like to have a motion to approve the minutes from our November meeting. Any
So moved.
second? Who's second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Minutes are approved.
Next, we will move on to public comment. Those who are present in here for public comment, you each will be given 3 minutes to do your public comments. Once 3 minutes is up, the alarm will go off and your public comment will be completed. For those who have signed up for public comment, we will go in order of those who signed up. So first, we have Pickle Rick. Just let me know when you're ready to begin.
Good evening. Karenitis, part 3. The prequel, because this is America, there's always a part 3, and it's a prequel. October 12, 2017, once upon a time, I'm not sure why I was in handcuffs in the hallway of the Virginia Hospital Center emergency room. Don't worry, I'll get to you, Michigan. But at the time, I couldn't help but theorize, did I say something they didn't like? Did I make comments about a certain doctor, Dr. Donald Taylor, who put me somewhere I shouldn't have been? Because, I mean, for the life of me, I don't know why you would put someone in handcuffs for needing health care. Am I right? So why was I in handcuffs there? Well, I guess to make it official that, yes, I was right. Per the medical records, I gave a certain Dr. Rajak Gatia, and I, in fact, had kidney disease. So that's why I was perplexed as to why I was in handcuffs. I don't understand. Did I say something I shouldn't have? Did you happen to put me in a place where you shouldn't have when I told you I had kidney disease a year before? Because that's what shocked me the most. Not that he got the diagnosis right, but that he told the truth in quite the scenario in front of Arlington County police officers who had me in handcuffs in a chair, one Corporal Speariner, eyes in an E, and one Officer Casey, his arresting officer, along with the Arlington County, Virginia sheriffs. And, well, I guess they just called the police there to show it was official. I was diagnostically correct. So what does this have to do with all of you? Does that not sound a little bit familiar? From the first time I even visited University of Mammon Hospital, what do I get? Police presence, security detail, and why is that? You think I'm mentally ill? Based on what? Because thanks to the mental health reforms of the Commonwealth of Virginia, something as trifle as a kidney infection can be a mental illness. In fact, anything can be a mental illness, including this simple Pickle Rick shirt. Thank you very much, Roanoke City. So what does that say about you, Ann Arbor City? Well, that's why Virginia put me away for having a perfectly treatable disease it failed to check on because it didn't matter. Oh, and it needed people to, fill its pill mill hospitals. This is America. Why does anyone do anything for money? But what makes me Pickle Rick exactly? Not just the legal fact I established in Roanoke City, but because of what I accomplished up here. In spite of all of you. I'm clinically and scientifically him, Dub, always in great pain. Because for some reason, you just want to scapegoat me. Why? Those police shootings are not my fault. And it's worth noting, just because I happen to look like one of the many monsters
30 seconds.
in your system doesn't mean I am one. So guess which one I am now? I am the ghost of Christmas past. The one Alan Dulles always hoped for but never anticipated. Wubba-lubba-dub-dub.
Thank you.
Next, we will have Dirk.
Dirk Mayhew, 3rd Ward. Thanks for letting me speak. This has gotten a lot fancier since the last time I was here. 6 years ago, I was waving this letter from the Police Officers Association of Michigan. It was about the formation of this committee. Someone had asked their lawyer, are you legal? Is this a legal endeavor? And instead of saying, well, yeah, mostly, but they've got to pull out the subpoena power. You can't question my officers under oath. City Council can't do that. They can't give it to you. Instead of saying something like that, the lawyer wrote a 4-page letter filled with a bunch of threats, or things that I took as vaguely threatening. So he came in to say, you know, this isn't cool. If a guy like me thinks this is threatening, somebody else that's not in my demographic is probably going to be even more threatened. Fast forward 6 years to today, I'm back because the Police Officers Association of Michigan. This is not my cops. This is, however, their union representation. Police Officers Association of Michigan Facebook account, their official statement says, Minneapolis is a shithole and the people who live there are scum. I've given you a copy of that. And if this was the first time, I would say, okay, rogue actor, one loose cannon. But it's not. It's a habit. So I'm here tonight to say we got to up our officers' pay. Because the reason they need a union is they need legal protection. Cops get sued. When my cops get sued, they need a lawyer. Police Officers Association of Michigan is the cheapest union, and it shows. If we can encourage them to do something like vote out of that and vote in on officers, I've been at the bargaining table. It's a vote. I know it'll be hard. Please go back and talk to your brothers and start talking about this, because I really want you to get better representation. But if they can get that done, we got to cover the cost. And that conversation has to start someplace. They're going to have to pay more to get representation that's respectable. We should cover that cost. I figure y'all are the right place to start. And in case anybody misinterprets me, this is my grandfather's New York City cop hat badge from like 1925, the Tong Opium Wars. I'm not anti-cop. I'm pro-police, generally. But we cannot have our officers who are entrusted with power, life, and death represented by this shitty union. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. We move on to the report from the chair. Vice Chair Offman.
I think that's going to be a little bit brief because the only thing I'm going to add is we did not have our January meeting because it fell in the time when there was a community event that was hosted by Congresswoman Dingell was hosted at New Hope Baptist Church in remembrance of Alex Brady, who was killed in Minneapolis by ICE agents. And we felt that it was important to be attending that community event. Also would like to thank our Commissioner Green, for hosting this important event at his church. That was well attended, and many of our commissioners attended that too. And I think it was very informative to hear from community leaders and our Congresswoman about what is really going on. Also, this gives us why it's important to have an oversight. Because locally, we can do that for our police officers. Not every town or police officers organization anywhere has this oversight. What happens to the federal? Who oversees the federal activities? Or agents who are belonging to the federal government? We don't know. And this is really important to make sure that we are transparent in our relationship with the community, and we want to make sure that our police officers, they adhere to their commitment to serve the community to the best of their ability. That would be one of the issues that I would say, and I would probably leave the other details to Chair Carter when she comes back, so she can talk more about other issues. But this is really one of the things that why we had to cancel our meeting and attend this community event, and I believe it was worth it. Okay.
Chief Anderson's presentation.
The other thing was, remember we had discussed one time that Chief Anderson would be talking about his experience at Ferguson, and it got postponed because of scheduling. And I think there will be, now we'll be working, actively working with Chief Anderson to find time and location for that. I know at one point, Chair Carter, I don't know whether she approached Commissioner Green about having this event at the New Hope Baptist Church. I don't know whether she did mention that to you or not, but this is one thing that she had in mind, maybe as a location
That's fine.
to be hosted. And would be also nice because it's downtown and people probably would have access and coming down. If we had people who came to the event in January and it was really cold and snowy and all these things, I would believe that that would attract also some community members to attend.
Absolutely.
So this is one of the things that we'll be working on, is finding a time when Chief Anderson can talk about his time at Ferguson.
Okay.
Next on the agenda, we move on to old business. At this time, we have no old business on the agenda. Commissioners here, is there any old business for the commission? Seeing none, we move to new business. Under new business, we first start with the 2025 annual report discussion.
I think all of us received the draft from Chair Carter, and she was waiting for your feedback and your contributions to the report. And I hope that we can have this probably in place in our March meeting. And if you go over the draft and send her some of your comments and feedback, we will probably have a chance to vote on this in our March meeting. Anyone who would like to talk about the annual report, if you have any comments or so? Sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, excuse me, I wrote an update as far as the Policy Commission is concerned. I sent it to Commissioner Liu for her approval. She's out of the country, I think. But she did indicate, I don't know if she might have one thing to add, but that's pretty much done, and I'll be sending that to Chair Carter soon. One question I wanted to ask, and it seems to me we may have discussed this last year or even the year before, and I'm not sure where we came out on it. But there was some discussion, I think, about putting, not that we would necessarily sign it, but to have a section that just lists who the commissioners are during the course of the year. That's not, I didn't see that in this draft. I don't know if we've ever had that or if it was taken out, or there was some discussion at some point, and there's some concern somehow among some. Yeah, I could be misremembering, but I wouldn't have any objection to having those of us who were commissioners in 2025 be listed. But that's my only real comment outside of my own policy section.
I know we talked about that and mentioned something about listing the current commissioners. And I don't see any issue of not having that, because it's going to be out, and the public will be accessing that, and probably would not know who who serves on the commission. That would be fine.
Point of information, I do remember we did discuss it last year. I think the concern was the previous year, there were commissioners who had resigned, and so everyone who was on for last year wouldn't be on 2024. But seeing that you all have been on since last year, I don't think there would be an issue with putting you all's names and roles.
Well, and that's why I said we don't necessarily have to sign it. It's just to list who served on
yeah.
the commission during the year. Because in fact, there are some folks, I think, who have left, who were commissioners in 2025, but are no longer on the commission. So we're not going to get their signatures. But the signing doesn't seem that important.
Okay.
But just the listing.
I think it can be addressed, and I think the names can be listed as part of the final draft.
Next, we move on to our commissioners' AAPD ride-along discussion.
Who was on the ride-along?
I did.
Would you please share your experience?
I left my notes at home because I can't remember the exact date, but it was towards the end of January. And my ride-along was with Officer Nick Hoyle. He was excellent. He explained everything very clearly. He answered all my questions. He taught me some things as far as what they do with the computers, all the stuff they have to do when they get in the morning and start it up and put everything in. And every time they stop, all the stuff you got to put in. And I said, wow, you have to be good on the computer. And he said, yeah, he says, one thing you don't want to do is to get behind, because if you wait till the end of the day, it's just like crazy. But anyway, my ride along. I said, well, how long are we going to do this? He said, well, a normal ride along is 4 hours. I'm like, really? And I said, oh, okay, because it was a Friday, I believe, and I didn't have a whole lot of stuff to do. So 4 hours was fine. So anyway, the first hour, I was so bored. I thought, Lord, I'm not going to make it, because no one was calling in, not just for him, but for anybody. Nobody was calling in. There was nothing happening on the radio. It was silent. And I'm like, he said, well, maybe. He said, sometimes this happens, and, I said, well, what do you do? And he said, well, I just ride. So we rode all over. We were in I can't remember the district, but it's the district. There's 4 districts, I'm calling them districts, you probably call them something else, but there's 4 districts that the police, have broken them up into 4. They rotate. They don't do the same one every day. So they want to make it a little bit interesting. So on that day, he was the one on the northwest side, up on Plymouth Road and all around in there. So we were riding through the shopping centers, and he said he wants to ride through the shopping centers, so that the people will know there's a police present. He said even if nothing is going on, he rides through, doesn't even stop, he just rides through, just to let people know that there is a police presence in the event something would happen. So we did that, and then he said, we were riding, and he said he wanted to catch somebody not stopping at the stoplight, or not stopping at the stop sign. I said, oh, so you guys do this on purpose? You actually set this up so you can catch people going through the stop sign? He said, no, but there are certain areas where people do it all the time, and you have to make sure that they know that we know. So we parked the car in this area, and within 2 minutes, car went through the stop sign. And so he got out and he would talk to him. He was very kind. He has a very good, like people say, the doctors, what do they call it?
Bedside manner.
Bedside manner. Well, he has had a very nice manner. He talked to the woman and he said, did you know, he says, it's okay today. It's not okay, but he says, it's a good thing today. There's no traffic. He said, so since there's no traffic, I just want you to know you need to be aware all the time and not do this, because it was ice, kind of slick, icy that day. He said that if there was a car coming, maybe you wouldn't have been able to stop. Anyway, long story short, he gave her a warning. She went on her way. So then we started riding down by Gallup Park. And you ride all around Gallup Park and everything, and nobody was there. Actually, one or two people were out walking, but it's a cold winter day. So, but anyway, he said that, just in case, they know that there is a police presence. And so we did that, and then we went back up on Plymouth Road, and he got a call that he needed to be down on South Main, which was quite a different distance from where we were. So exciting. Oh, I forgot to mention that when he stopped the woman that went through the sign, he did turn on the lights, so I get to see that. But this time, we had to go across town. So I had the opportunity to ride with through all the speed, all of the stoplights, with everything going on the police car. And some people, when they stopped in the middle of the street. So I said, you can run into the people. He said, yes, we can. He said, so we have to be very alert so that we go around the people. So we did that. We finally got to the spot, and there was the woman who had fainted, and she was in her car. And there was somebody else with her, but they were concerned that she shouldn't drive any farther, what have you. So they had called an ambulance by the time we got there. And there was another officer, a woman, who was closer to that point at that time. So she got there before we did. Okay, so that was that. But that was exciting, riding all the way from Plymouth Road down to South Main, through all the traffic and everything. Then we rode around a little bit more, and we got a call. I don't want to go into details of this call because this call ended up in the paper. But we got a call, and we went to check on it, and they took all the information. He took all the information. He was just so kind, and he was just so attentive. I don't know if all y'all are like that, but he was so kind and attentive. And so we did that, and then we had to go look for this person at their house and everything. And then he finally brought me back to the station, and it was 4 hours. The 4 hours were up. And then I believe they went back to take care of the incident with this person. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. And I wrote a note to the person who set this up to tell them how wonderful Officer Hoyle was. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Let's just thank the...
Just me?
Yeah.
Oh. I did my ride along with Officer Datola, and it was not 4 hours. It was like just over 2 hours. But we had covered quite a bit of things, from just being kind to one employee in a business, to having sirens and lights flashing, and the first so we got in, and the first thing was he got a call for action for service to the mental health office over here downtown. And Officer Tolo was told that there was a person who was suicidal. And so we went in, and he was very kind to get me really look at what he was doing. It's like I was invited to go with him. He was briefed by the staff at the mental health, and he went in, and the person was, it's like really was in a bad shape. And the officer total was so kind that this gentleman was sitting on a chair. He kneeled on one knee, and he was talking to him eye to eye, and listen to him, listen to his problems, why he is feeling this way, why he's feeling down, why he's feeling suicidal, why he's feeling life is not worth it. And then start talking to him out of that, what was on the other side of life, not being suicidal. And that took, I think, more than half an hour of being with him. And then this gentleman agreed to help, to be taken to ER, the psych, adult psych at the emergency department over here. And they called an ambulance. We sat outside. This gentleman sat outside. We sat. We were with him, and Officer Toto was really a kind of person that if you have somebody in distress and with mental issues, he would be the right person to call because of his experience, because of his gentleness, because of his understanding to what people are going through. So he went in and got a chair for this gentleman to sit on while we were waiting for the ambulance. And then if you were passing by and just hearing the conversation, you would not know that this person just 10 minutes ago was suicidal. He was conversing as a normal conversation. And he agreed to go to the ER, and Officer Solo had briefed the staff over there about the situation. And also he was looking for a place for him after he was admitted to the psych department to go to a place where he can have rehab and also overcome some of his issues. So this was really one of the experiences I witnessed, and I was quite impressed by his knowledge, by his experience, by his approach to having a person from being suicidal to becoming more receptive to the kind of need and care he would probably find. I don't know what had happened after that. I might reach out to Officer Solo and ask if he had. He actually gave me his phone number to contact him anytime. This was one thing. The other kind thing that I saw was he went to North Campus to one of the businesses, and because the business has a new manager, so he wanted to have an open communication with the new manager and see if if there are some issues and problems, he would contact Officer Tolo. And while we were there, the manager had left, but he ran into one of the employees who somehow was treated badly by one of the customers. So he stood with this young man and talked to him and assured him of, if there is anything in the future, just give him a call and he will take care of that. So, and the other two incidents were, both incidents were, one was an alarm to one of the businesses or buildings that the door was open, the outdoor was open. So we went over there, and one of the officers, Officer Matt from K9, was there also, and they helped. And the other one was the alarm about one of the buildings that probably was maybe a hostage or so. And this is when they had the alarm and the sounds and all these things. And when he got there, there were quite a bit of police cars, probably 4 or 5 cars, converged onto that establishment. And the one thing he said that because the officers had stayed for a long time in the building, this was probably a false alarm. It was a false alarm. But definitely, this is the kind of officer we would like to have on our force. I think this is just my experience. Just the 2 hours I was with him, I witnessed quite a bit. But also, we would like to thank all the other officers who were involved: Tolo, Officer Tolo, Alkin, Condi, and Hoyer, and Officer Stanley. Stinky. Okay. So thank you so much for that, and also for the lieutenants who arranged for us to have this kind of experience. And this is my probably 4th time ride along, and this was probably the most exciting one of all, given the fact that I was there only just 2 hours. Okay, well,
Next, we'll move on to ICBOC candidate questions. The draft of these questions are part of your agenda packets.
This is a draft that I worked on because we felt that it was important to update our questions. And many of the questions were probably just a little bit of changes from the current ones. And I added at the end another question about the time that any commission needs to allocate for being on this commission is between 10 and 20 hours per month. And so I know I got maybe a couple of 2-3 feedbacks, but I think I would probably give a chance for commissioners to look at the questions again, and maybe you can vote on that in our next meeting in March.
Next, we'll move on to reports from committees, starting with the Policy Committee.
Could I just go back for a second and ask a question about so I'm just curious, I know we have 2 vacancies, right?
Correct.
Yes.
What's the status? Do we have?
We have
any
no applications
We have no
at this time.
applications,
Nope,
let
so
alone
the
no
commission
candidates.
receives applications,
Okay.
the recruitment committee reviews those applications, and then decides who to interview. Right now, the commission has received no new applications to be a commissioner.
Okay.
Okay. Going back to.
Because I was going to ask, I mean, the only comment I have on these, they're all good questions. There's just a lot of them, and I don't know. So questions kind of moot. I was just going to ask, like, how many questions do we actually ask of these candidates when we interview them? But we can cross that bridge, I guess, when we. And who's on the? Who are the folks that are? I guess we had at least one set of interviews in the last 6 or more months, I guess. So who was doing the interviewing? Which of us on the commission are doing that?
Sometimes we have 3, but lately Chair Carter and myself.
Okay.
And based on the interview, we pass our comments and our decision to Ms. Cummings to follow up with regular procedures. So.
Gotcha.
I have a question. Are these questions for the candidate and we're asking them their opinion on these questions?
These are questions we ask the candidates, correct.
So, for instance, on question number 4, we come from diverse communities and social identities.
Thank you.
In your opinion, will this impact positively or negatively the working of ICPOC? So do we want to know from them if it's going to impact how they work with ICPOC, or how ICPOC will, if us being diverse, how does that affect ICPOC? I'm trying to understand, what is it that we're actually asking?
I think the question itself is, with this diverse community that we have, and sometimes we have our priorities and our biases, say, or our positive things or our negative things. Would this, how this would affect the function of ICPOC? Is it going to be hindered by our negativity kind of thing, or it's going to be enriched by our diverse viewpoints and diverse backgrounds?
So, I'm not quite certain that I understand.
Can the question be reworded?
It can. The question is. This is why it's a draft kind of
Yeah.
thing. We can change the wording of the question. Yes, and this is why I would like to get the feedback. If you see any question that you feel that is ambiguous or it's not going to be received, or the outcome of the question is not going to be as good as what we intended to be, yes, we would change.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at number 5 too, and I'm wondering, do we want to know what they think are the main issues that ICPOC should be addressing? Okay, so rewording.
I think rewording is,
Okay.
this is why we have it. We're not going to make any decision on the draft now, but this is something that we can look at, and absolutely we are open for any suggestions from any of the commissioners. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Policy Committee.
Back to me. So we, Commissioner Liu and I have continued our review of the policies. We took a little break, but we're back at it. So, we're more than halfway done. And we're just continuing to go through it. And we hope to have it, I would say within the next few months, would be my hope, that we could finish the second half and then combine it into a full report and send it out. So that's about it.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Training Committee.
I have no report, actually. I'm glad that there have been a couple of commissioners that have gone on the ride-along, and I'm looking forward to my being able to do the same.
Wonderful. Next, we have the Outreach Committee, but representatives from the Outreach Committee are not here, so we will move past the Outreach Committee and go to the Planning Committee. Commissioner Cooper?
No report this month.
Okay. Next, we will move on to the Information Managers Committee. Vice Chair Offman?
Yes. For the year of 2025, we received 30 complaints, and 25 were investigated, 5 were closed, either because it did not involve AAPD or the complainant had rescinded their complaints. If we look at the types of the complaints, of the 25, 18 of them were type 1. Type 1 basically is how people, what's their impression about their interaction with the police. Type 2, which is the arrest, there were 2. Type 3, which is targeted or profiling, there was none. Type 4 is 4 complaints, and type 4 is basically something related to reporting, whether improper reporting or incomplete reporting or not follow-up on reporting. And type 5 is trespass. There was 1 incident. If you look over here, it's basically skewed kind of numbers because of the 18 of type 1, I think 10 of them came from one individual concerning one type of complaint. So that makes it a little bit why we have 18, but we really, under normal circumstances, we would not have the 18. And I looked also at the AAPD complaints that were received directly by or filed directly through AAPD. There were 15 complaints, and I typed those ones. Type 1 were 3, type 2 there were 7, type 3 4, type 4 1, and type 5 is 0. And those ones, those would be graphed and included in our annual report. And this time we'll have one comparing, or two graphs, one for APD complaints and one for us, and we can compare the type of complaints that were received in 2025. For this year, we received 6 complaints. 2 of them were closed because, again, they did not involve APD. 3 complaints were completed by APD. Now they are available for us to review, and 1 just arrived today. I will assign those complaints to the information managers, and also will have a transparency meeting because I think 2 of those complaints had a video associated with. So we are going to be probably accessing the unredacted videos from those 2 complaints. So this is where we have that.
Next, we move to City Council update. Any updates?
Okay, so I think the one thing that I would update everyone on is at our February 2nd City Council meeting, I think it was February 2nd, we adopted a resolution strengthening our position as a city against ICE and border control immigration enforcement in our city. So we reaffirmed our longstanding policy of not cooperating with and not aiding civil immigration enforcement in our city. But we went a step further and declared non-public areas of city property off limits to ICE and border control, as well as declaring city parking areas off limits for staging, et cetera. One of the additional things that we did was to ask city staff to make standardized no trespassing signage available for public download. So these are signs that are designated, that are designed for residents, businesses, and institutions to clearly designate non-public areas where civil immigration enforcement is not permitted without proper legal authority. And those signs are now available for the public, so I would encourage anyone who owns and operates a business to go onto the city website. Feel free to download those graphics. Those can be printed, those can be displayed in your window going forward. So our goal here, is to provide clarity, reduce confusion, and respond to community concerns about increased ICE activity and the fear and, frankly, terror that it is causing many residents in our community. Additionally, we are continuing to look at things like anti-masking policies, so our resolution addressed that as well. We are, again, just continuing to push ahead and do everything we can within legal limits to limit ICE activity in our community.
Go ahead.
I have a question. I'm just curious, how much consulting did you do with the AAPD before passing the resolution?
Yes, so absolutely. So our city attorney, city administrator certainly worked with AAPD in advance of creating these policies. If you've heard our police chief talk about their response as well, the resolution actually asked the police department to create their own policy as well. So our police chief is working on that. I don't think it's been made public yet, but it certainly does address their limits and their responsibilities. So while they cannot obstruct an investigation, they also have a duty to, and I have this language written, it's very specific, but they do have a duty to intervene when they see a crime occurring, right? So, so that will be part of the policy that they have that will be coming.
Yeah,
I have a
this-
question.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
What is the anti-masking policy? What is it?
Yes, so the resolution directed city staff to draft an anti-masking policy, or an anti-masking ordinance, rather, so that we would have it ready to go if there's a court case in California that was looking at this. And so now there's been some movement on that, but it's basically any law enforcement, not just ICE or Border Control, it needs to be global, is my understanding, but that no law enforcement can have face coverings. Everyone has to not have face coverings and be clearly identified with their, identification number and the organization that they represent.
I understand. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone?
Yes, I have a question. Is the resolution, how can we get a copy of the resolution?
I can send it around. Yeah,
That would be great.
sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You have it on, is that the whole thing on your screen?
No.
Or is it longer? Okay.
It's
Because I was going to
longer.
ask you to perhaps read it if it was just that long, but if it's longer than that.
It's longer. Yeah.
Yeah, this was,
Yeah, I know I've seen it, but I would also like to
No, I'll
get a copy of
I
it.
say if you send it to me, Councilwoman Iyer, I'll send it out to the commission.
Okay.
yeah, this one of the things that I wanted to ask, but Commissioner Milgram had covered that, is the resolution also applies to the AAPD, so in terms of interaction with ICE or so. So they will have their own policies and
Yes.
within the kind of boundaries of the law where they can or can't do things.
Yeah, that's exactly what our chief has been working on. Yeah.
Now, would commissioners feel comfortable to probably make a motion to support the city council resolution?
Actually,
Okay. So I think probably we'll table this motion till we get the resolution, and we will have this stuff voted on in our March meeting. Okay. Any other issues? Anyone who wants
I
to
ask one
address?
other question about ICE. And this may be outside of your purview, I don't know, but if ICE agents commit a crime, do you know whether they have any immunity against prosecution?
So that is definitely out of my, that's above my pay grade. Yeah, that's
Okay.
not something I can
I
answer
understand.
for you here. I'm sorry.
The city's attorney office may have some information on that, or to see if they can answer your question. If you email it to me, I can send it to someone there to see if they can answer it for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Communications. Is there any communications at this time from commissioners that they would like to share? Seeing none, we move to adjournment.
Okay, motion to adjourn our February 24th meeting.
So moved.
Second. Anyone against? No. For? So we'll just go with against versus in favor.
Aye.
Is in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our February 24th ECPAC meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.